Buster Olney and Jesse Rogers of ESPN have dropped a new article talking about their offseason predictions, free agency intel for the rest of the 2026 MLB offseason. Before we do get going into this, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Windup so you don't miss out on any of the content coming out over here. Shout out to our members, shout out to our subscribers. James, we've got a big article here with a lot of info. Where do we want to begin?
Big article. This is a very juicy one, so definitely link in the description if you guys want to read it yourselves. But I think we got to start with the first line just to get it out of the way. Anti-player Buster Olney. We have officially reached that point in the winter in which some sort of transaction deadline would be useful to move things along. That is 100% true, but that's only helpful to the journalists and the fans. We need to make sure the players are always first, and the players should have no deadline so they can make as much money as they possibly can on the market.
Yeah, and just context, again, all the players have no leverage to begin with right now because, again, there is a fake deadline for these guys.
Yeah,
you want to be in by spring training, but if there's an actual hard deadline, the players will either have the opportunity to play for what the teams dictate, which will be the absolute minimum, or you don't get to play baseball for the year. It doesn't make any sense in Major League Baseball. I absolutely hate that take.
Yeah, I hate that one. But then as we go on here, we start to get, like we said, some pretty juicy rumors. And it kind of jumps all around the place. Definitely wanted to talk about the key teams, the key players. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff about Cody Bellinger, whose market has just seemed very, very soft this winter, especially for a guy, one of the few players out there, premier players, that doesn't have a qualifying offer attached to them. Basically the fact that the Yankees want Bellinger, but nowhere near the price that that Scott Boras seems to want for him, which I think makes sense based on everything we've seen and heard about him.
Yeah, I think we all agree that Cody Bellinger is a good player. He's a borderline, probably top 50 player in Major League Baseball. He still plays good defense. Granted, it's in the corner position in the outfield, but that still has value. He's one of the best defensive outfielders in the corner in baseball. Hit close to 30 home runs last year with the Yankees. Swings made for that stadium. It's definitely a match made in heaven for Cody Bellinger to be back with the Yankees and the Yankees to have him back. They clearly don't want to play Jason Dominguez as much as they would have to right now, which is really interesting as well. Just keep something in mind there that Jason Dominguez, trying to avoid using him at all costs. But at the same time, the contracts that we're hearing that Cody Bellinger could be interested in, seems like he wants a ton of money, seems like he wants the long-term deal, and something that you've talked about a lot before, James, is it's like the third offseason now where we've had Cody Bellinger hit the free agent market, and what do you know? Nobody's willing to give him that big contract, including the team that just had him where he had the best year that he's had in a while.
Not even that. This is the fourth time in 5 years you could have had Cody Bellinger on your team because he was non-tendered by the Dodgers, signed a one-year proof deal with the Cubs, extended the qualifying offer, then signed a 3-year deal with the Cubs, opted into the first one, opted into the second one, traded after the second one. Now, after that contract, opted out the last year with the Yankees. So it's just you've been able to get Cody Bellinger if you've wanted in the last few years. And the big note from this little piece is that Bellinger made $27.5 million last season, and it's hard to imagine his representative, Scott Boras, settling for a deal that averages less than that. So if Cody Bellinger wants to maintain that AAV, I don't see him getting more than 3 years. I just simply don't do. I don't see Cody Bellinger really being over $27 million AAV guy for a deal that spans into 4 or 5 years. I just don't think that's possible. So at some point, someone's going to have to compromise here.
It feels like the max for him could be like 5 for 125, maybe absolute max. And again,
absolute max.
Absolute max. It's also crazy to me that we're hearing no other teams even interested in him. And I guess that's probably the Kyle Tucker situation as well. You kind of can't be that interested in Cody Bellinger until you know what's going on with Kyle Tucker. But at the same time, a lot of the teams that could use Cody Bellinger are simply just not going to pay Kyle Tucker what we know he's going to get.
I think there might be also the sense from teams that it's kind of easier to procure an outfielder. Like you could just have an outfielder in your system. You could pick up one of these depth outfielders that's available for a 1-year deal at the end of the winter. And for Cody Bellinger, guy, it's not the only thing he's really elite at is pulling his fly balls and having a really good arm, really good defense at the corner. That's you don't pay premium for those types of skills at this point right now, which is weird, but it's kind of true.
There's also something too hurting Cody Bellinger where looking ahead to next offseason, there are a ton of corner outfielders. Yeah, a ton of corner outfielders that are hitting the free agent market next year where there might not be the inclination to pay up for Cody Bellinger right now when, like you said, that position you can kind of find guys at the end of the offseason to play it, and the value of Bellinger versus some of those guys might not be as great of a difference if you just wait an offseason.
Who are the corner outfielders available next year? I'm seeing some pretty ugly names on the board.
Randy Arozarena is one of them.
He's older than Cody Bellinger.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think teams are going to be like, we'll pay Randy less to play left field than Cody Bellinger, and their value isn't much different right now.
Yeah, I probably do take Bellinger over Randy just
Sure,
for the
but Randy's
floor
not
of
going to
it
be
all.
asking for $27 million a year.
He might. I don't know what Randy's going to be asking for next year. It depends what he does this year. Springer is
mean-
also going to be ancient. He's decrepit. And then, Ian Happ, I guess, but he's not. Ian Happ's going to get like a 2-year, $40 million deal. Say
Ian Happ, Taylor Ward, Dalton Varsho. I know he
yeah.
plays center field. Laureano will be a free agent for sure.
These guys are still, to me, all a tier below Cody Bellinger.
Sure, but I think for these teams, the way that Seiya Suzuki is going to be available, I think for these teams, a lot of the money that they're trying to think about, I think could be impacted too by the fact that there's always a ton of corner outfielders available. So why would I pay
Yes.
Cody Bellinger a premium when I can get similar-ish production for a lot less money?
Yeah, that's where I went at the beginning of this. Available in your system. There's always a corner outfielder around. So it's like
especially left field.
Yeah, if there's one you're a little bit trepidatious about, and that's Bellinger. I understand why this market's kind of frozen. Also, I think another big revelation from this piece in this section is that the Red Sox are willing to pay Bregman big money. That was something that Buster Olney said. He compared it to the contract that was offered reportedly last year from the Tigers, that 6-year, $170 million. And this, to me, we keep barreling to the same spot where the Red Sox and Bregman just kind of have to get back together. I don't really buy any of these Diamondbacks rumors for Bregman at all. It just feels like they're trying to add teams to the market, just hoping to get leverage on the Red Sox.
What's confusing is if the Red Sox are willing to pay him the big money, why haven't they signed him yet? Why hasn't Bregman signed? Surely there has to be other suitors.
Maybe not big enough.
This is the only thing that is a little bit annoying about this article personally to me is that we're hearing about the big teams and what they are doing with these big guys, but then you get this Bregman news. So then who else is around? There has to be other teams talking to Alex Bregman right now, and there isn't that much conversation about who the other suitors could possibly be.
No, the one that keeps coming up are the Arizona Diamondbacks, but it just doesn't seem like the way they're situated right now as a team that they want to add big money to their lineup without meaningfully improving their rotation, which is horrible. If you add
bad.
If you add Alex Bregman to the Diamondbacks, I still don't see them as a playoff team. And I think they would have one of the 5 best lineups in the National League if they actually added Alex Bregman. But their rotation, which we've gone over a few times this offseason, right now, Merrill Kelly, Ryan Nelson, the skeleton of Eduardo Rodriguez.
Merrill Kelly's back?
Yeah, they signed Merrill Kelly 2 for $40.
Nice.
That was a few weeks ago. Brandon Pfaadt and Mike Soroka is the 5 right now. And their bullpen is Andrew Salfrank, Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, Drew Jameson, who probably winds up being the closer there. It's not a good scene right now in Arizona. And they also don't have a ton of pitching prospects that are ready to be depth if they need them to be. I like Christian Mena. I think Cole Drake, they got the deadline's pretty good.
They did, yeah.
I don't really love the idea of trusting these guys as my 6 or 7 heading into the season. I'd love for them to be 7, 8, 9. They need 2 starting pitchers to be a playoff team probably.
And even if they bring back Zach Gallen, there's a lot of just what kind of Zach Gallen are you going to get?
I think bringing back Zach Gallen would be a big deal. If you do Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Ryan Nelson, and Alex Bregman, then I'd say yeah. And you sign one of the relievers, you actually probably are a playoff team at that point.
Offense is good, but that pitching still is got to be bottom 10 in the league.
Also, for a team like the Diamondbacks, now we're just doing Diamondbacks talk, their outfield is abysmal besides Corbin Carroll. Right now, Roster Resource has them starting Blaze Alexander in left on opening day. They're the fit to me for Cody Bellinger. I don't know why there's not more smoke around there.
I think he's an Arizona kid too. I think
he is an Arizona kid. So it's if he's going to take less money somewhere, take less money to go home.
Yeah, he'd be great there. He'd be awesome.
Great, perfect there. Also, Buster remarked that Bo Bichette's market is kind of weak because the league now views him as a second baseman, which, of course, that makes perfect sense.
Who saw that coming?
I don't want to give a second baseman a 7-year, $200 million contract. I think Bo predicted that Buster predicted Bo was going to get at the beginning of the offseason.
You don't want to give Xander Bogaerts money to Bo Bichette to play second base?
No, not really. And again, it's funny because that first line we said that it was very anti-player, what Buster said. But when he always does these free agent predictions, I think a lot of the writers do this. They're very pro-player. They're expecting tons of big money to go for all these players. But just the way these off seasons have gone recently, which you guys know because we've reviewed every single one going back for the last few years.
And we got more coming.
Oh, we got way more of those coming. But it's just it doesn't happen like that.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about the Blue Jays, Kyle Tucker, Dodgers. Interestingly, no mention of the Mets in this article being linked to Kyle Tucker, which, again, we know Buster Olney has his personal vendettas right now against the New York Mets organization. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second here. But the Kyle Tucker news is the same thing, so it's not really news. If Kyle Tucker wants a long-term deal, the Jays could be his best option. If he wants a shorter-term deal, the Dodgers seem to be the team that's going to get it done for him.
And the idea that the Dodgers just keep lurking for Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. every single day that passes, it seems to make it more likely they get one of those guys.
They can't keep getting away with this. There's got to be another team that can come in and swoop up one of these guys.
And there was this idea, someone the Blue Jays mentioned it today. Was it Keegan Matthewson, a beat writer, during the Kazuma Okamoto press conference, that they're comfortable with their position player group now, and they feel like if there was another meaningful addition, it would push a major league caliber player to too deep of a bench role.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of okay having Jimenez and Clement be those middle infield guys this year and aren't really feeling super aggressive going after Bo Bichette, which that's also something scary too. If you're thinking about your team signing Bo Bichette, that the team that had him, who knows that he's going to have to switch positions, is like, we kind of want to go with Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez instead.
And who's a 28-year-old whose sprint speed is falling dramatically year over year for some reason. Just bad knees, bad legs. I don't know what's going on there. And these guys have qualifying offers attached to them. So if someone, you can't give them a 1-year deal. You could probably give them a 3-year deal. But if you are going to give them a short-term deal, it would make sense to be a team that thinks, okay, I need this to win the World Series right now. If I'm losing these assets, I have a lot more to gain in the near term.
It's still so crazy to me the Yankees aren't attached to Kyle Tucker. I saw
not even a mention.
I saw a good TikTok today over on Foul Territory talking, Ken Rosenthal talking about how the Yankees, like, Aaron Judge is getting older. Like, Aaron Judge is not young. He's in the prime of his career. It's crazy that they're not building more around him to make sure that they actually get a ring. Like, while his prime's incredible right now, if it lasts for another 3 years, like, that's crazy. And they're just not putting the pieces around him right now to make him successful in that lineup.
Yes and no. The Yankees are a very complete team as they're currently constructed right now. Like, the Yankees are quite good. Maybe they got kind of bamboozled by the Trent Grisham qualifying offer a teeny tiny bit, and they maybe just don't want to bog it down that much because we're opposite sides of this. I think the Yankees have to give Jason Dominguez some run. I really do.
They have to, but the fact that they have, it seems like, no interest in doing it's another one of those things where I'm like, is it just because he's not that good?
Kind of, but also he's still unbelievably young. Like, we kind of keep forgetting that. Like, Jason Dominguez and Carson Bench are going into next year at the same age.
Of course,
I think Dominguez is a few months younger, but it's very different shine for a guy like Dominguez who was famous when he was 15 and got a nickname and then signed with the Yankees, and that was the whole thing. But like, and the skills also have jumped around the last few years. But I don't know. I still see a guy who, if he gets more playing time, the hit tool gets a little bit better naturally. And I still see a guy who hits the ball hard, just doesn't pull it. It seems like a lot of the things that will get better with age, like a little bit of age, a little bit of experience, Dominguez can get better at and become an impact player. The problem is that the no trust for Dominguez definitely comes from the defensive side of the ball.
Well, yes, of course. He I don't know how much better of a left fielder he is than me or you right now.
Oh, I mean, I think you could track down a ball as good as Dominguez. I can't track down a ball, but at least I can chase after them really well. That's kind of the combination there with Dominguez.
He's got the speed on us.
That's what I'm saying. It's very weird that he can't play the outfield at all. And again, maybe these are concentration things because he hasn't been a full-time player.
Yeah.
That's also no excuse.
No, not at all.
No whatsoever. But the Yankees team is really good, so
he's playing left field like Lucas Duda back with the Mets.
But like, there was a line here, yeah, right. There was a line from Jesse Rogers later in this that kind of contradicted what Buster said at the top about.
Should I be scrolling
Bellinger?
down, or am I in the right spot right now?
Scroll down a little bit down.
Okay,
I'll find it in the article right now. But,
yeah, tell me where this would be so that the people on the screen, looking at the screen, can also follow along.
All the way down, not that one. Here we go. In the same way, it's in the section of what are you hearing about the other big four remaining free agent hitters?
What are you hearing about the other big four remaining free agent hitters?
Scroll up a little bit.
Is that one of the headlines?
Yeah.
Keep going. No, that's not it. I'm in the right section, I think.
This is a great YouTube video.
This is a great. I'm in the right section.
Yeah, you're in the right section. Yep, you're in the right section.
Okay, so just Jesse Rogers.
The Jesse Rogers part. Your screen was small on mine. So the line is here. Expect to see the Yankees version of a full court press for Bellinger, though they've balanced their lineup from the left side of the plate better in recent years. Where they were more desperate in the past for balance, they might not be in need of it as much. Having said that, as a rival put it, Bellinger would still be their best left-handed hitter if he returns. So my point is, like, if you're going to do a full court press for Cody Bellinger, why not do a full court press for Kyle Tucker, who's a better left-handed hitter?
Yeah, like, especially that bar's kind of low if Cody Bellinger's the best left-handed hitter in that lineup too.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Bellinger, like we've said,
he's
this
good.
Too.
Yes,
he's perfect. Cody Bellinger will be better
also
on the Yankees.
Disrespect to Jazz Chisholm.
Disrespect to Ben Rice.
That's your boy, Ben Arraez. Like we could disrespect Austin Wells and Ryan McMahon all you want, but those two deserve some respect.
Especially from the plate, like Grisham might pop 30 homers in Yankee Stadium again. Austin Wells probably pops 20. Like
They
this
actually need way more help from the right-hand side if we're talking out loud.
Yeah, because if it slash when Giancarlo Stanton gets injured, like your right-handed hitters are now Aaron Judge and Anthony Volpe. But it's weird to me that the Yankees haven't even been remotely linked to Kyle Tucker in any way. Like it seems like there's just no interest whatsoever, which makes Kyle Tucker's market that much more interesting for all of these teams like the Mets and the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, where you're just kind of staring at each other waiting for something to happen.
I'm also always still shocked that the Phillies haven't been more interested in Tucker either. He'd be so good in that team.
I think these teams don't want to spend money like that. I don't know. It just seems like, especially not that money for Kyle Tucker.
All right, well, let's talk about not Kyle Tucker now. Yeah. Let's talk about the real elite hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's talk about the batting average merchants. Let's talk about Luis Arraez. Olney's called him one of the most interesting free agent options available. His unusual set of skills. He makes contact better than anyone. Again, I hate when people... That's like one of my least favorite lines ever is he makes contact better than everyone because quality of contact all of a sudden doesn't matter. Like, I could tell you who makes better contact than anyone. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge makes the best contact in baseball. He has higher batting averages than Luis Arraez every year, and he also hits close to 60 home runs. Like, no, he does not make better contact than anyone. He just strikes out less.
Yeah, definitely strikes out less. But I don't know, Luis Arraez he's a weird like litmus test for the baseball world. Like it's funny that in the second section of this article, will tell you about where we are in the winter. Only starts with Luis Arraez, and he starts the next stanza with Miguel Andujar. It's like that's just kind of where we're at right now. We're not exactly star-studded moments right now for players to sign, but I really can't find the good team that's going to sign Luis Arraez.
If Luis Arraez could play second base even slightly below average defensively, I actually think he has a ton of value to a team because second base is such a weak position. And being able to be a guy who could have like a 740, 750 OPS in a good season, like I think that has value. But the fact that he is a first baseman, more so a DH, who's going to maybe be a league average hitter, and like that's terrifying for a team. I don't realistically know where he can go besides like maybe the White Sox, but they got their DH.
And why would the team not want to, get someone with a little bit more power? Like it's just that's kind of where it comes down to at the end of the day. Like right now, in terms of playoff teams whose first basemen are projected for under 2 wins by Steamer. The Astros, there's reports that they might trade Christian Walker, but I think that's just so they can clear up space on their own infield and let Paredes play there. Like, then you have the Rangers. They're not going to sign Arraez and add another like unathletic kind of sloppy hitter to that mix. No. Like the Reds, do the Reds sign him? If the Reds sign Luis Arraez, that'd be a disaster because you have easier shot to hit home runs in that ballpark than any other team in the league. Like it's just there's no real.
It's like the Rockies would be such a great spot for him.
Yeah, so I keep saying going back to that over and over again. Like maybe this is the one the Brewers just do 1 year, $5 million at the end just to try and get an edge on the market somehow, some way. Like they find a way there.
Because there's definitely a price point for Luis Arraez where he is now a major positive for your team because of how much you're paying him. Like he's not. I know we like dog him all the time on this channel, and I dog him more probably than most people. Like he's not an awful player. He's just not.
He's not awful at all.
He's not where people regard him, and I think this offseason's proving that the rest of baseball also feels that way.
Yeah, but it's also obvious the rest of baseball felt this way. It's a one-dimensional player, and his one dimension is something that you can't really rely on.
No. Eugenio Suarez is another name as well. Okamoto's signing was a data point, and Eugenio Suarez should finally get some traction, as will Yoan Moncada. Suarez liked his time in Cincinnati, though Pittsburgh is still looking for hitters among the NL Central teams in need of infield help. I'd love to see Eugenio Suarez in Pittsburgh. That would be an awesome fit. I think Eugenio Suarez is such a good fit for so many teams. Like, how... I guess it's because of his age and the fact that he was so bad with the Mariners in the second half that maybe people are a little bit scared and whether or not he can play third base full time. But the power is so legit. Like, being able to bring 40 home runs into a lineup is going to help everybody in baseball.
That's why I love him going back to the Reds. Like, that's a fun story, and that's coming home thing. He's always been a great clubhouse guy, and I feel like that's just a young team, like, with Tito over there, like, coming off a pretty miraculous playoff berth. We know that one right there. We know why that happened. But it's he fits everywhere because I've like tons of teams could use right-handed hitter. He fits back to the Diamondbacks. Just play first or third again. Like they could use a right-handed bat as well. Like half the teams in the league should be willing to sign Eugenio Suarez. But this is kind of the collusion thing that we talk about, where probably every single team is offering him 2 for 44, and it's just which one do you want to pick?
Yeah.
Oh man, my plant just fell.
So your plant just moved?
Yeah, my Monstera fell off its stand a little bit.
Oh no, is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. It can hang out.
All right.
But it's just I wonder why, like a guy like him, just I guess because you have to wait for Bregman kind of for him to sign.
It's probably it. Like
kind of.
Got to imagine a world where the Diamondbacks miss on Bregman or the Red Sox miss on Bregman or whatever it's going to be, maybe teams are like, all right, well, Eugenio Suarez is next. Let's go get him.
Yeah, does make sense. Section down now, we start talking about some pitching. The first one was, what does Tatsuya Imai's deal with the Astros mean for the top of the free agent starting pitcher market? I think both guys basically said not much at all. Like, this was a unique situation where, again, he had a signing deadline, and he seemed to be a bit of a difficult pitcher to evaluate on the open market just because he has stuff that doesn't really look like other pitchers in Major League stuff, but kind of went to the Astros. And a big part of him going to the Astros, we've learned in the last few days, is that he contacted Yusei Kikuchi, and Kikuchi just had glowing things to say about the organization. I think that probably is a much more important thing for these Japanese stars that are posted and come over from the NPB than we realize.
Also, the fact that he got the opt-out after year one.
Yes.
Basically, if Imai thinks he's as good as he is, and same thing with Boris, like if they think that he's better than what he's being evaluated for, go out, pitch in Houston, dominate for 130, 140 innings, whatever it is, 150 innings, and then he can go get paid next offseason.
Yeah, which again makes perfect sense. It would be a great idea for him. So it's why, and I've loved also seeing the Imai press stuff. Like, he was just so
he's
pumped
awesome
at his press conference. I love this guy. He watched the Kevin Durant buzzer beater against the. I mean, I don't remember who's against. I'm not a big basketball guy, but for the Rockets, the day of his night of his press conference on Monday, and when he hit, he was sitting courtside, well, yeah, two hands in the air, like jumping up and down his Rocket stuff.
Went to the Texans game too and was going absolutely crazy. Like, that guy's not watching.
Fun.
I don't think much American football over in Japan.
No, but he seems like a great guy to have in the clubhouse. We said the other day. Great pull for the Astros to do that, even on the risk of a one-year deal. Like, get Imai for 1 year. If he's good, then you just had probably a better season than you expected. If he leaves in free agency, great. Thank you for the good one-year deal for $21 million.
That then leads into the rest of the other free agent pitchers this offseason, mostly Ranger Suarez and Framber Valdez, to which Buster Olney almost pulled out his famous line, almost bet the family farm, but is now using different verbiage, saying with the Mets still needing help in their rotation, it seems inevitable they will land one of these two. And Suarez makes a lot of sense given his calm presence on the mound and experience pitching in big market for all those years in Philadelphia. Now, James, just to sort through all the weeds and stuff, when you hear about why a pitcher makes so much sense, normally, if a guy's really good, you hear stuff about electric stuff, good strikeout rates, all this. With Ranger Suarez, like, he's got a calming presence. To me, and I've been anti-Ranger Suarez a lot about, like, I just don't want him. There is a better version of him out there, way better in Framber Valdez, in my opinion. Throws harder, gets more strikeouts, has shown the durability. Ranger Suarez has never thrown more than, like, 157 innings in a season.
55, yeah.
The Mets need some innings. If they're going to go after that kind of tier pitcher, go get the guy who throws harder, go get the guy who has more innings and has shown that he can throw more innings. I still think we're going to get Framber Valdez, but I would avoid Ranger Suarez like the plague.
I think, like, the best I would do for Ranger Suarez is basically, like, give him that same contract that Tatsuya Imai just got, but with giving up assets for the qualifying offer, you can't give him an opt-out after one. You'd basically have to sign Ranger Suarez for, like, a 3 for $60.
Yeah,
and that's just because the rest of the market is giving him 1 year deals. Like, basically, like, the rest of the market doesn't like him. The Phillies are giving him a 1 year deal. You give him 3 for $60. That's basically the most I would go for him. Because again, when you start to hear those quips like calming presence, postseason performer, that's kind of how you know there's not as much, like, real stuff to talk about there. And I did this bit on my YouTube channel. Here's every single left-handed pitcher with a fastball that's 92 miles an hour or under in baseball. And you guys just listen to these names. Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Walter, Sean Manaea, Joey Cantillo, Eric Lauer, Kyle Freeland, Patrick Corbin, Ranger Suarez, Logan Allen, Colton Gordon, Tyler Alexander, Jacob Lopez, Shota Imanaga, Jeffrey Springs, Ian Seymour, Tyler Gilbert, Jose Quintana, Kobe Allard, Andrew Heaney, Martin Perez, Austin Gomber, Tyler Anderson, Clayton Kershaw, Ryan Yarbrough. Like, that's just, when you hear that list, the guys who are good are the outliers.
Yes, and I also think in the Mets' perspective too, and even for Ranger Suarez, like, we saw Sean Manaea get a 3-year, $75 million contract last offseason.
Mistake.
Huge mistake. I think there's some serious concern from everyone around the league for giving, and you mentioned him in the guys who have a fastball under 92 miles an hour, soft tossing guys any substantial amount of money. That's where Framber differentiates himself. He throws a lot harder.
Yes, and if Framber throws a lot harder, I don't think Framber even gets the credit for throwing hard because of the misconstruction between, like, left-handed pitchers and right-handed pitchers. Right-handed pitchers' average fastball is like 2 mile an hour harder on average than left-handed pitchers. So the fact that Framber sits 94 point a few, like in between 94 and 95 for a sinker, that's a plus velo sinker for a left-handed pitcher. Like, I think we're going way too far against Framber Valdez right now.
It's because everyone's still thinking about that weird shit that happened at the end of the year. Like, it was bad.
He was bad at the end of the year too. Like, the cross-up was bad, like, visual, and it was bad. You don't do that as a teammate, but also, like, I've seen a couple people cite the over 60 ERA over his final 10 starts, which I couldn't care less about that, honestly. Like, I don't care about 10 start ERA sample like this. I don't know. Like, there definitely are red flags, and I wouldn't give Framber Valdez like 6 or 7 years.
No.
4 or 5, I'd be pretty okay with that.
He's going to have opt-outs too, which I just wonder if the family farm is going to be going to someone else again this year. Who's going to be owning the only family farm this offseason?
And these sinker guys like Framber, they go forever.
Yes.
Forever. You just chuck no matter what. Like, even if Framber threw 91 like Ranger Suarez throws now, like, I still think he'd be better than
Because that sinker, yeah.
the sinker and the curveball he has, that's platoon neutral. Like, the Framber Valdez, we've seen 900 innings of an elite pitcher. Like, I just think he's good.
At least for what the Mets need, it seems like Framber is a way better fit than Ranger Suarez. Especially, remember Framber had that quality start streak that we saw in Baltimore? Like,
we saw it snapped.
Yeah, that's what the Mets need. They need more quality starts.
Also, the Orioles. I think the Mets and the Orioles are the teams that seem so obviously involved in both of these guys, but I can't get away from the fact that Ranger Suarez goes back to Phillies on 1-year deal, and Framber just goes to whichever vibe he gets better from, the Mets or the Orioles.
Totally. We also got a few more mentions of other pitchers as well. Zach Gallen, Zach Latell, and Lucas Giolito starting to come up more and more in conversation. I think there's a clear and obvious one that I like the most out of those three, but they are kind of finding themselves all relatively in that same grouping.
It's a shame for Zach Gallen. He finds himself in that grouping with these guys like that. That's a real fall from grace. I think he's blatantly the best guy in that trio for sure. But when the qualifying offer comes into play again, it's like, I don't know. He just seems like he's going to go back to the Diamondbacks on a 1-year deal unless he gets 4 for 100 from somewhere. Does someone give Zach Gallen 4 for 100?
How old's Gallen? 31.
Is he 30?
I think he's a year older than us because he was playing Jersey, like high school baseball around the same time.
I guess that's true.
Fun fact about him.
He's 30 right now.
He was a nothing recruit. I know he went to UNC, but he was not highly rated in the state of New Jersey, so that's kind of funny.
He was like 165 pounds, like dripping wet.
Yeah. But of this group, he's by far the best. He's also going to get paid the most if there was like ever a time for someone to get paid more. Like I don't see Lucas Giolito getting more than a 1-year deal, maybe 2-year at like $30 million a year. Same thing with Zach Latell, probably goes in at like $10 to $12 million a year.
How much better can Zach Gallen be than what Zach Latell did last year?
Zach Latell wasn't that good, wasn't he?
Zach Latell last year was a 3.8 with a 1.1 whip while pitching in Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. The two Zach Latell.
Yeah,
that was for 190 innings. That was an incredible season.
I think Gallen can definitely be better than that. He has been better than that.
Over the last
you also love Zach Latell. You've been a Latell guy for a while.
Yeah, because the guy's an innings eater. We love innings eaters on this show. Also, the guy came from the bullpen to the rotation. He has like the tight slider and the splitter, that kind of platoon neutral, the 2 different types of fastballs. Over the last 2 years for Zach Latell, we're looking at 340 innings with a 3.7 ERA and a 1.18 whip.
That's pretty good. I'm not going to slander him, but
that's awesome.
I think that's also probably the best outcome you get with Zach Latell.
Probably, but also he's the same age as Zach Gallen. Like, he's been more consistent in worse ballparks. Like, I don't know. Sometimes we let the name kind of jump ahead of the pitcher and just the analysis sometimes. Again, I think Zach Gallen probably is objectively better, but when you bring the qualifying offer into it, like, twist my arm to give Zach Latell 1 year for $18 million.
I also think there's such reliever risk again always with Zach Latell too, where I think Gallen's always just going to be a starting pitcher.
Kind of. Zach Latell's been really good 2 straight. We got 300.
I think really good is a stretch. Really good is a stretch.
3.7 over 340 innings.
That's solid. I won't say really good.
Well, that's really good in terms of like a regular season pitcher. The Mets had that last year. They're a playoff team.
Yeah, of course. If the Mets had a corpse that could just roll the ball to home plate, they would have been a playoff team.
That's what I'm saying. So many of these teams just need a 4-starter right now. And Zach Latell's an amazing 4-starter.
He's gonna be dirt cheap.
That's the same. He's gonna be 1 year, 18 mil. Like, it's perfect.
I think 18 might even be high, but we'll see.
I'm telling you, what he's done the last 2 years. That'll be a good. Maybe that could be the bet. The over under 18 mil for Zach Latell.
I'll hammer the under.
All right,
14 is the max.
And then the last kind of big piece coming out of this article here was just that the trade market is dead silent.
Yeah, which
dead silent
makes sense. We haven't heard a thing. Like, we know the St. Louis Cardinals are trying to desperately pawn off everybody over the age of 30. Like, Brendan Donovan's a good player. He's going to fit on a lot of teams. He's going to be a Seattle Mariner at some point, but
probably a thing where the Cardinals want too much for him.
Yes.
That's kind of where it winds up.
And the rest
at that point, you might as well just hold him to the deadline.
Rest of the league's like, no. Enjoy winning 70 games with Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, no, it's just like, and again, we keep getting the same ones. Ketel Marte and Tarek Skubal. It just seems like the price is very high and teams are not willing to match. Mackenzie Gore, I guess, maybe. Donovan, like you said. And then We keep getting these like Edward Cabrera little crumbs and whispers every which way. Same with Freddie Peralta, but it just feels like again like they're just and Luis Robert just doesn't feel like they're happening.
No, Luis Robert's the one that I'm shocked still. No more, not enough heat around him just yet.
Yeah, people don't love trading with the White Sox.
It seems like it.
Yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And then we got the last little bit here about so many established hitters looking for their next deals from Marcell Ozuna to Hunter Renfroe. I don't know what to say about that one. Ozuna's like, first of all, bad guy. Be pretty cool if he doesn't ever play for a major league team again. And if he does, seems like he's going to sign a 1 year, $10 million on like March 11th.
Ozuna from the Braves?
Ozuna from the Braves. And Hunter Renfroe is just not a major league hitter anymore.
Yeah, like Hunter Renfroe was on the Royals last year, and I think he finished the season like in 100 plate appearances with like a 37 OPS plus. The Royals were dying for any living, breathing Major League Baseball player to be put in that lineup. And obviously he's had some injury stuff too, but like Hunter Renfroe is going to get a Major League spring training invite. He's not getting guaranteed time on a roster right now. There's no shot.
No, and this is probably also a situation where it's just like the game has evolved like past the needs for these guys where teams are just much more willing to give the 24-year-old in AAA the chance to take a corner outfielder DH spot just to do it. Like what the Mets are going to do with Mark Vientos this year. He's probably just going to be the DH.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily love. And then also some conversation too about Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, both obviously still on the market. Teams more interested in Verlander than Scherzer right now because Verlander ended the season strong. But again, it's like a 10-start sample, so it's kind of tough. I think almost every starting pitcher that is a legit Major League starting pitcher has a 10-stretch start stretch where they're pretty good. But these guys are, almost in their mid-40s now. It's kind of tough to give them anything but a spot that they have to earn.
I mean, they referenced there talking about those guys like the Dodgers kind of did with Blake Snell, which is a funny line because Blake Snell's making tons of money for lots of years, where it's just like, skip the first half.
It is sick.
Show up in June, pitch the rest of the year from there, take your break in August, and hope you're okay to give us 4 innings that time in the playoffs.
Let's end it real quick with just some quick gut predictions on some of the names. Kyle Tucker, James.
Mets.
Really?
I don't know. I'm starting to think it's going that way.
I think it's gonna be the Dodgers.
I think Bo Bichette Dodgers.
Okay,
I've been on that one for a month now.
I'll be honest. I have no clue where Bo Bichette's going. I can't find a single spot where I feel comfortable putting him.
I think Bellinger back to the Yankees too. I think Bregman to the Red Sox, and I think Ranger Suarez to the Phillies and Framber to the Orioles.
Ooh, I got Framber to the Mets. Ranger Suarez definitely back to the Phillies. Bregman definitely back to the Red Sox. Bellinger, I think there's going to be a weird team that comes in for Bellinger. I think
Diamondbacks? My Diamondbacks?
Yeah, show me the Pirates for Cody Bellinger. 1 year.
No way.
1 year for Cody Bellinger to the Pirates. And then
that'd be awesome.
Where does Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander play? Let's get real gross here in the 30th minute.
Max Scherzer, the Yankees.
Whoa. Okay.
And Verlander, the Dodgers.
I'm going to go
Verlander Padres.
I'm going to go Max Scherzer. Oh, man, he loves winning too much. He'd never play for the Angels. I'm going to go Max Scherzer to the... put him on the Braves.
Okay.
And I'm going to put Justin Verlander on the Angels.
Okay. Just to hang out in LA?
Just Verlander's trying his hardest to get to 300 wins. And
it's going to be a lot of time to do it.
I don't know if he's ever going to get there, especially if it's with the Angels, but he will be one of the 5 best pitchers in that organization, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely possible. But all right, that was a clean 30 minutes about one article.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you are subscribed to the Windup. We do appreciate the seriously incredible support you guys have been showing. We're doing our giveaways over on Instagram and TikTok, so go check those out. Links in the description if you want to get involved in those. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Draft Nick Mark. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.